Should be a 2010 blue Infiniti G37. Illinois tag. Should be a hardtop convertible. All units 2 keep passing for the Wheeling now. Correction, coming to Wheeling.
In January 2020, Arkansas State Police officers received information about a stolen vehicle traveling through their jurisdiction. The vehicle, a blue 2010 Infiniti G37 hardtop convertible bearing, Illinois license plate Echo India Kilo 73, had been reported stolen from Kane County, Illinois, where it was connected to a series of residential burglaries. Intelligence suggested the vehicle's occupants might be armed. When officers attempted a traffic stop, the driver refused to yield, initiating a high-speed pursuit that would span multiple counties, reach speeds exceeding 150 miles per hour, and ultimately result in a violent collision with an innocent civilian vehicle occupied by a mother and her 6-month-old child.
That vehicle's going to be at the Wheatley exit.
It stopped.
Negative vehicle right behind it. I'm at the 221.
Which station to it? I'm right here for 263. So wait to at least get 2 units behind him before we line him up, please.
This footage obtained through the Arkansas Freedom of Information Act raises critical questions about the risks and justifications of high-speed vehicle pursuits. When does the danger to the public from a fleeing suspect outweigh the danger created by the pursuit itself? At what point does the need to apprehend become secondary to the duty to protect? The answers are complex, and the law provides guidance that may surprise you.
Big 446, that vehicle entered into NCIC.
The pursuit begins with dispatch relaying information about the suspect vehicle. Officers are advised that the Infiniti G37 with Illinois plates has been flagged in the National Crime Information Center database as a stolen vehicle. Critically, there is intelligence suggesting the possibility of firearms in the vehicle.
Approaching the 217.
Under Arkansas law, officers have clear authority to initiate a traffic stop based on this information. The reasonable suspicion of a stolen vehicle, combined with its connection to a felony theft investigation, provides more than sufficient legal justification for the stop. What happens next will determine whether the pursuit remains legally justified as circumstances evolve. Notice the moment the suspect vehicle fails to stop. This decision by the driver transforms what would have been a routine felony stop into a dangerous pursuit. The moment the emergency lights activate and the driver accelerates instead of stopping, the driver commits the criminal offense of felony fleeing under Arkansas Code, Section 554.125.
Y'all worked in 4 on the possibility for guns being in there, correct?
Arkansas law is particularly strict on fleeing vehicles, even if the driver is ultimately found innocent of the original suspected crime. In this case, the stolen vehicle, the act of fleeing itself constitutes a separate Class A misdemeanor. However, as we will see, the manner in which this driver flees will elevate the charge to a Class C felony, carrying a penalty of 3 to 10 years in prison. Officers immediately notify, dispatch, and request additional units. Standard pursuit protocol requires supervisor notification risk, assessment, and coordination between multiple units. Notice the professional measured communication between officers despite the escalating situation. As the pursuit enters, the interstate speeds begin to climb rapidly. The pursuing officers must now continuously assess the justification for continuing the pursuit under what's known as the Graham versus Connor standard established by the Supreme Court in 1989. Graham holds that the reasonableness of force and make no mistake, a high-speed pursuit is a use of force must be judged from the perspective of a reasonable officer on the scene, not with 20/20 hindsight.
Interstate.
Speeds are 80 right now.
Advise you again, fit it first chance you get. 31, I'm behind you, I'll call it.
The court established three factors: the severity of the crime, whether the suspect poses an immediate threat to others, and whether the suspect is actively resisting or attempting to evade arrest. Let's apply these factors to this pursuit. Factor 1, severity of crime. We have felony theft, a serious offense, combined with intelligence suggesting possible firearms in connection to multiple burglaries. This is not a minor traffic violation. Under this analysis, continuation of the pursuit appears legally justified at this stage. However, the analysis must be ongoing as circumstances change. Speeds have now exceeded 140 miles per hour. At this velocity, the stopping distance exceeds the length of 3 football fields. A tire blowout at this speed would be catastrophic. Any steering input, any minor obstacle, any mechanical failure would be instantly fatal. Listen carefully to the radio communications. The officers are discussing whether to continue or terminate the pursuit. This is exactly what Arkansas State Police policy requires: continuous risk assessment. Notice the phrase, if we can slow down and beat it back off. This indicates officers are considering using distance and tactics rather than maintaining close pursuit at these extreme speeds. From a tactical standpoint, there are several alternatives to high-speed pursuit that modern law enforcement has available. First, aerial surveillance. Use a helicopter to track from above, while ground units back off, reducing immediate pressure and hopefully reducing the suspect's speed. Second, spike strips or stop sticks to mechanically disable the vehicle. Third, GPS tracking devices that can be deployed to tag the vehicle. Fourth, simply obtaining the license plate, ending the pursuit, and apprehending the suspect later at a known address. The critical question: are these alternatives available to these officers at this moment? From the radio traffic, it appears attempts are being made to coordinate spike strip delivery. But does that justify continuation at 150 miles per hour through civilian traffic? We now arrive at a critical juncture in the pursuit analysis. Traffic density has increased significantly. Every vehicle on this highway is a potential victim. Every driver making a routine lane change, checking their mirrors for normal traffic, is completely unprepared for a vehicle approaching at more than twice the speed limit. From a civil liability standpoint, this is where pursuit lawsuits typically focus. The question asked in court will be, did the danger to the public created by the pursuit exceed the danger posed by allowing the suspect to escape? The leading case on this issue is Scott versus Harris, decided by the Supreme Court in 2007. In that case, a fleeing driver was paralyzed when an officer used a pit maneuver, a precision immobilization technique at high speed. The court watched the video as we're doing now and held that the officer's actions were reasonable because the fleeing driver posed an actual and imminent threat to the lives of any pedestrians who might be present to other civilian motorists and to the officers involved in the chase. The court emphasized that it was viewing the facts in the light depicted by the videotape. So let us do the same. What does this video show? The suspect driving at extreme speeds, weaving through traffic, passing on the shoulder, creating near collisions with innocent motorists. Under Scott versus Harris, this level of danger can justify extreme measures like this. But, and this is crucial, does it justify continuing to chase, thereby adding a second vehicle to the danger already present? This is the question departments in full struggle. Professional law enforcement training emphasizes coordination over individual action in high-risk pursuits. Notice how multiple units are communicating their positions. This is textbook pursuit management. Officers are not simply chasing, they are attempting to coordinate a containment strategy.
Guys, when it gets close to that corner here, you can go back off just a little bit. We're up at 202.
traffic strips, also called stop sticks, are being deployed ahead of the suspect's position. This is exactly the de-escalation tactic that policy requires. Spike strips puncture tires, forcing a mechanical stop rather than requiring the officer to cause a collision. It's a less dangerous alternative to ramming or shooting. However, there's a critical problem. The suspect must actually drive over the
What should you get over the road?
at these speeds. This
Temple, they've been advised that Perry County is setting up in the hammer lane
If
with
the
the
suspect sees
bike.
the strips in time, he may swerve into civilian traffic to avoid
He's in the left lane with his lights off at the moment.
Temple.
From a tactical standpoint, officers are now facing the worst-case scenario in pursuit management. Extreme speeds, dense traffic, limited tactical options, and a suspect who has demonstrated complete disregard for human life by continuing to flee under these conditions. The suspect's own actions have foreclosed the safest option, simply stopping.
He's going to be on top of the bridge right now. Should be. He's got 18 wheelers in front of him.
Temple.
Left lane going across top of the river bridge. Left lane going across top of the river bridge.
Temple, that's right.
Up the lane. He just went back over to the right lane.
Temple.
31, if you close, I can call it at 37 drive. He's coming by the rest area, lights off.
Departmental policies typically require a supervisor to authorize continuation of pursuits at these speeds. The presence of multiple agencies, notice the mention of Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, suggests that supervisory oversight is present and coordination is occurring at a command level.
We'll see if we can get Blue Rock an update on their location, please.
Temple, we're sending them some messages.
Got him, Mike, got him.
The spike strip deployment has not stopped the vehicle. This could indicate several things. The strips were not placed in time. The suspect avoided
Temple, that's report.
Another portion is about Mike is getting.
At this point in the pursuit, we must address the most difficult question in pursuit law. When
Temple,
must officers
that's
terminate the pursuit to protect public safety, even if it means the suspect escapes? The case of County of Sacramento versus Lewis, decided in 1998, provides the legal framework. In that case, a high-speed chase resulted in the death of an innocent passenger on a fleeing motorcycle. The Supreme Court held that for a substantive due process violation to occur, officer conduct must shock the conscience. The court acknowledged that split-second decisions in pursuit situations are incredibly difficult, and that only conduct intended to cause harm, unrelated to legitimate law enforcement objectives, violates the Constitution.
37, he's still rolling. Still rolling, hey, they're approaching now. 10-4, is he going slow enough you can get up there and get him now? Yeah, man, catching up to him.
Applying this standard, officers in a pursuit are given substantial leeway. The question is not whether, in hindsight, termination would have been wiser. The question is whether the officer's decision to continue pursuit was so unreasonable that it shocks the conscience, meaning it demonstrated deliberate indifference to known risks without any legitimate law enforcement justification. Here, officers have a legitimate law enforcement objective, apprehending a suspected armed felon in a stolen vehicle who has demonstrated willingness to endanger the public. However, the counter-argument is that the pursuit itself is creating equal or greater danger. This is the central tension of the pursuit. There is no clear answer. Different jurisdictions have different policies, and courts have struggled to establish clear rules. The pursuit has now continued for more than 15 minutes. At these speeds, the vehicles have traveled more than 35 miles. Multiple jurisdictions have been crossed. Countless civilian vehicles have been endangered. From the officer's perspective, visible on this body cam, there is no indication that the suspect intends to stop. Every moment of continued flight reinforces the assessment that this is a dangerous individual who will not be deterred by police presence alone. Every near miss with a civilian vehicle demonstrates the ongoing threat. But from a public safety perspective, every second of continued pursuit adds to the statistical probability of exactly what is about to happen, a collision involving an innocent civilian.
Temple, that's report.
31, getting in his tires. Or like that, if he had time, I don't know. 10-4 guys, 149 is pretty good speed. Let's stay with it just a little bit. If we can't get in a position where he slows down, we can beat him and back off at this speed.
According to data from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, police pursuits result in approximately 300 deaths per year in the United States. Approximately one-third of those killed are innocent bystanders, people who had no connection to the crime, no knowledge of the pursuit, and no ability to protect themselves. This creates an impossible moral calculation for officers in real time continue the pursuit and risk civilian casualties, or terminate and risk that the armed suspect will commit additional crimes or harm additional victims later. There is no what happens to crystallize this dilemma in the most
Temple, they're listening on our frequency now.
Pretty good.
Your bay's listening on frequency now.
10-4. What units do I have from Interstate? A55 is about 168 or 169 eastbound. 10-4. 58, 57 is very close behind him. 10-4. 31, 37, what's your flight? 190, northbound. What's your speed and traffic condition? 390. What's your traffic? LI, 6440. 10-4. Take his time, you direct.
This creates an
Well, I go to
impossible
your 3864.
officers in real time continue to pursue and risk civilian casualties or terminate and risk that the armed suspect will commit additional crimes or harm additional victims later. There is no perfect answer. What happens next will crystallize this dilemma in the most tragic way possible. At approximately 16 minutes and 30 seconds into the pursuit, traveling westbound at over 120 miles per hour, the suspect's vehicle struck a civilian vehicle in the right lane. That vehicle was occupied by a 27-year-old mother and her 6-month-old infant daughter. They were not fleeing police, they were not committing any crime, they were simply driving on a public highway entitled to the assumption that all drivers around them would obey traffic laws and drive safely. In one split second, the suspect's decision to flee and the decision to continue pursuing resulted in the exact tragedy that pursuit policies exist to prevent. What you are about to see may be disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
We're taking the turn now.
10-4-39.
37, what's your flight? 187, westbound. 10-4. 4-6, get a 10-16, starting that way.
10-4.
70, anybody else you're seeing?
Unfortunately, there's one more involved.
To emergency response. Notice the first question. Is there any more kids in here? Despite having just been involved in a high-speed pursuit that ended in this collision, the officer's training and instincts prioritize checking for additional victims and rendering aid. Radio traffic indicates both victims are alive, but injured. The infant, only 6 months old, is reported to be coughing up blood, an indication of serious internal injuries. The mother is also injured, but conscious. Emergency medical services are immediately dispatched, and officers work to stabilize the scene. Meanwhile, the suspect has fled on foot from his crashed vehicle. This raises an additional legal issue having caused the crash and the injuries. Does the suspect's continued flight justify pursuing him on foot, or should officers remain at the scene to render aid? The answer under law and policy is that different officers can perform different functions. Some officers remain to provide medical assistance and secure the crash scene. Other officers can pursue the fleeing suspect. This is exactly what we see happening here. The multi-agency response means there are sufficient officers to do both. From a criminal liability standpoint, the suspect is now facing significantly enhanced charges. The original felony fleeing charge has been elevated under Arkansas Code Section 554-125 subsection C, which makes fleeing a Class C felony if the person causes serious physical injury to another person. With an infant reported coughing blood, serious physical injury is clearly established. The suspect is now looking at 3 to 10 years in prison for the fleeing charge alone, in addition to the stolen vehicle charge, aggravated assault charges for both victims, and potentially additional charges related to the injuries caused. While officers remain at the crash scene, tending to the victim's additional units pursue the suspect on foot. He has fled into a wooded area near the crash site, likely attempting to escape on foot since his vehicle is disabled.
57, you can head back 55 and I'll get it.
Give me a pocket knife. Coming to you. What's that? Somebody shine a light in here. Sounds like fuel we got to get out. Yep. Gotta get my flashlight out of that back seat. Is there any more kids in here? Huh? Okay. Get your... Put your hands behind you. Okay. Knock this hat down. Mine need my ass. I don't care about your knee. No, my neck. I don't care about your neck. Hands on people. Okay. All right. I'm so sorry. Nick, help him. Put his way back in the car. I'm so sorry. Hey, yeah, just stay there, Nichols. Don't walk through too much. It's going to be easy to go out with him this way. And go to that pit like we came in. Yeah. And go through all this shit. Good boy, my man. I don't know who's who. This is mine. Let's get this over with. I told him to get a helicopter started for that kid. Okay, that's fine. 6 months old. Then we need to shut that down. What's it doing? They got it started. They got one started already. Get up, stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Okay. He ran in this thing. Okay. Come on. He's right here. Got him? Yeah. I'm just going to knock his ass to the fence. Got him? Stand up. Shut up. You get all that stupid shit you want. Get up. Okay. Stay back. Stay back. Get your ass up. Ready? Get your ass up! Okay, I'll walk. I'll walk if you want. I'll walk. Okay. You better get the fuck up right now. You hear me? No, it's not. Yeah. Golly. Nice for speaker. 3-4 good. Your unit's in Phillips Counny. I'm like over there all over the crash. Yeah, 10-4 if you can, that'd be great.
Arkansas State Police deploy a K-9 unit. The use of police dogs in apprehension is going
they advise their 23 officers north, 53 close to y'all already marked.
However, when pursuing a known violent felon, and at this point the suspect is a violent felon, having just caused serious injuries through his reckless flight, the use of a K-9 is generally considered reasonable force.
4 of them at the 199 or 197. What do you buy? Hey, 703 going on up there for traffic, please. 703, go ahead, sir. I'm not sure if he's still monitored. I'm working the crash. Their unit coming to work, it was in Phillips County, so I'm a lot closer. Careful. We vehicle. 31 or 37, do we have any lanes shut down? Negative, no lanes are shut down. Is there a helicopter on the way?
5573, is there anything on me to get started doing for you?
Or you want us to shut this thing down?
I'm just about half a mile behind y'all.
Yeah, 10-4 will have to.
K-9 handler officer Clayton tracks the suspect through difficult terrain. At approximately 1 mile from the crash site, K-9 the suspect during the apprehension, officer Clayton slips and falls on the telephone pole, sustaining impact. This is an unfortunate reminder that police work involves real physical danger, even when officers are the ones pursuing rather than being pursued.
37 of us, so 196. Give me just a second to get there. Fort City, we do have a helicopter on the way, correct?
The suspect is taken into custody without further incident. He will be transported to jail, booked on multiple felony charges, and held without bond pending arraignment. The crash scene remains active, with multiple agencies investigating. The civilian victims are being transported to the hospital by ambulance. What began as a report of a stolen vehicle has resulted in serious injuries to innocent victims, an officer injury, hundreds of thousands of dollars in property damage, and multiple felony charges against the suspect. The question we must now address, could this have been prevented, and if so, by whom? The outcome of this incident reflects both relief and tragedy. The civilian victims, the mother and infant, both survived their injuries and were released from the hospital after treatment. While medical privacy laws prevent disclosure of specific injuries, the fact that both survived is a small mercy in an otherwise tragic situation. The suspect was charged with multiple felonies, including felony fleeing, causing serious physical injury, aggravated assault, 2 counts, and theft of property. According to available records, the case was processed through Arkansas courts, likely resulting in a plea agreement and significant prison time. Specific sentencing information is not publicly available, but based on Arkansas sentencing guidelines, the suspect likely received between 5 and 15 years in prison.
There's a turnaround right here, is there? Yeah, there's another one passing on though. It's about the 188, I believe, 187 somewhere there. I think the race will be right there close to where it's at in the curve. 10-4, right here, I got it.
We'll see what the ETA on that chopper.
Due to the weather, they're unable to get one in the air.
Good boy. Hank the baby's gonna load the mother and the child up here to the hospital. Years right, the TD's gonna load them up. You have to more of the 6-year-old. The mother's not hurt, it's the 6-year-old. They're just gonna load the baby up. Let's have a 1016 meet them.
Hey, 55, they're up on 1097.
Yeah, we're going. Let's get a 1016 in route. Should have been one in route already. They're getting on here to 193 now. You advised the 1016 is. Yes, sir, that's fire ready. They're getting on the interstate to 193 right now. 10-4, 37. Let the 1016 get there, please. At 10-4, that is correct. We're going to wait on the ambulance.
4 City correct.
Where was that turnaround?
331, 14, 1016 is in my vehicle.
10-4, 42.
He's right after 187.
Put our time curfew on north.
37, when you get a chance, give me another one. Item 58, go ahead, sir.
1097.
10-4, sir. 44.
Hey, 7 to 1097.
10-4, sir. 44. Hey, 10-4. 10-97.
Officer Clayton recovered from his back injury and returned to duty. He later received a commendation from the Arkansas State Police for his role in apprehending the dangerous suspect despite his injury. No civil rights lawsuit appears to have been filed against the Arkansas State Police or the officers involved. This is significant as it suggests that either the victims did not pursue civil action or their attorneys determined that under current pursuit law, particularly Scott versus Harris, the officers' actions were legally justified and qualified immunity will likely apply. The Arkansas State Police conducted an internal review of the pursuit as required by policy for any pursuit resulting in civilian injury. No disciplinary action was taken against the officers involved, and the pursuit was determined to be within policy guidelines. However, the case is now used as a training example within the Arkansas State Police Academy to educate officers on risk assessment during high-speed pursuits. It's time to evaluate the parties involved in this incident based on legal compliance, tactical soundness, and overall decision-making. As always, we grade objectively based on law and professional standards, not emotional reaction or political perspectives. Three parties will be evaluating: the Arkansas State Police officers involved in the pursuit, the suspect, and the Arkansas State Police as a department regarding policy and training. The Arkansas State Police officers involved in this pursuit received a grade of C+. On the positive side, officers demonstrated professional
73, if you want to keep pulling up, there's room up
multi-agency
here.
coordination was excellent. Spike strip deployment showed officers were attempting less dangerous alternatives. Immediate response to the crash showed appropriate prioritization of victim welfare. The foot pursuit and apprehension of the suspect were tactically sound. Officers followed department policy as written, and their actions were legally justified under current Supreme Court precedent, specifically Scott versus Harris.
Item 7, we're about 97. 10-4, sir. 46. 55-7. If you don't mind, put your vehicle in the number 1 lane, shut it down for the ambulance there on scene.
However, the central question remains whether continuation of pursuit at speeds exceeding 150 miles per hour through dense civilian traffic was necessary. While legally justified under Scott, the risk to benefit calculation is questionable. The suspect's identity was unknown at the time, meaning arrest could not occur later based on identification. The stolen vehicle had already been recovered electronically through its vehicle. The primary threat was the suspect's dangerous driving, but the pursuit itself added a second dangerous vehicle to the situation. Alternative tactics like aerial surveillance or termination with later investigation
You already got a
were
second
not clearly
1016
considered in
coming?
radio traffic.
Okay.
The grade reflects legal compliance and tactical professionalism, but questions about risk assessment at extreme speeds. Officers followed policy and law, but policy itself may have allowed continuation beyond the point where public danger exceeded apprehension need. The suspect receives a grade of F, and this requires no extended explanation. He stole a vehicle, he fled from arrest at extreme speeds for civilian traffic, he endangered countless innocent lives, he caused serious injuries to a mother and her infant child who had no connection to his crimes and no ability to protect themselves. He showed zero regard for human life. He fled on foot after the crash, showing no concern for victims who had just injured. He demonstrated no remorse, no attempt to surrender, and no consideration for anyone but himself. Under Arkansas law, he is criminally liable for all injuries and damage resulting from his decision to flee. The legal doctrine of proximate causation places full responsibility on him, not on the officers pursuing him. His actions transformed what would have been a routine felony arrest into a situation that nearly resulted in the deaths of innocent people, including an infant. There are no mitigating factors. There is no defense. There is no ambiguity.
Where's this fine, upstanding person at?
It's all yours, Big Daddy.
What was he driving? That thing?
Yeah. Rear end could be a normal. We were coming pretty hot.
Oh, yeah.
Huh? No, I mean, hot. We were on our way.
Yeah. It was going to end badly.
Whole wheel.
And then he took off running.
Yeah. I don't know if he was on the shoulder and then went back to the left. He was actually in the right lane. It looked like that.
Lucky it's not a fatal.
You don't have to look that.
How are they? Are they life-threatening?
I don't think so. It's more of the kid than anything. The kid looked like she was coughing up blood while ago. That's the reason why I went. This or whatever.
Who's working it? Dooley, you working it?
Yeah.
Huh?
You guys gonna work it? I'm just gonna do pull the airbags and do a write-up on that for the fire.
Go on.
Software, you take the box, kind of like a black box on an airplane. Okay. And what it does, there's kind of airbags. They stay, crash stay. If they have fast going, seatbelt on, there's somebody's black box.
Your guy okay? Yeah, back hurt. He was hiding under a telephone pole when we were tracking through that big shit. And when the dog engaged and hit him, Clayton tried to brace and he slipped and fell on that pole in the ditch with the water. Okay. That's how he hurt his back. Because he was trying to crawl through that little slough.
Yeah.
That way, and there's a pole about where your life is. Huh? No, that's their dog. No, I don't.
Well,
He's got quite a few of those. White County. White County deputies.
I'm going to put this up.
thought you had to drink.
Yeah, I don't know how he got hurt either.
He slipped down there. Yeah. The guy started crawling through the ditch, and he slipped and fell. The hazing officer slipped and fell on a pole that's in that ditch. How far did the bad guy get?
I don't know if the fight did or not.
Charge him aggravated on law enforcement. Yep. So what do you think? We got another. We should about have 400 charges walking out of this thing. Your guy okay?
Back.
Hello, Mr. Pettigrew.
He pushed her through that guard right behind him. And then she was spinning like this.
What did you do for your radio?
Well, I don't know how that... I don't know.
Gang right there. You can see the skid. Right here. I think he hit back there behind my car. Oh, yeah. He hit back there. He slid off right here. There's impact. Here. Impact would be back behind my... Well, there's a bumper right there. Right there's impact. Impact's right here. This is where she went, or this is where he went off. That's where she went off. He went here. She went there and hit that guardrail. He hit her rear end. Yeah. He kept going right here. He hit right here and came off this way. Troop A's calling you. Yeah. Not on the radio. Any day you're ready, Mr. Pettigrew. I hear you. Yeah. Impact's right there. She's right here. What'd they start chasing him for? Stolen vehicle. They were digging it. Oh, okay. Stolen vehicle. He had a gun or something like that. Supposed to be assault, stuff like that. It's like the third one we done got through with it.
The Arkansas State Police Department evaluated on policy and training receives a grade of C- positive aspects. The department has a written pursuit policy that requires risk assessment and supervisor oversight. Officers are trained on pursuit tactics and alternatives. The department conducts internal reviews of pursuits, resulting in injury demonstrating accountability. The use of this incident as a training case study shows a willingness to learn from negative outcomes. Multi-agency coordination was excellent, suggesting good relationships and communication protocols. Areas of concern. The pursuit policy apparently permitted continuation of the pursuit at 150 miles per hour. Post-incident review found no policy violations, yet mother and infant were seriously injured. This suggests the policy itself may be inadequate. Arkansas State Police data shows over 500 pursuits annually, with multiple civilian deaths and injuries each year. This indicates a systemic issue beyond any single incident. In 2025, suspects, emphasizing that they will pursue you, will stop you, and will prosecute you. This tough on crime stance may discourage policy and reforms that will reduce civilian casualties. The grade reflects adequate policies and training that meet minimum legal standards, but failure to adequately address the inherent danger pursuits posed to the public. The department is legally compliant, but could do more to prevent civilian casualties.
That blue car, the suspect car, do you have a 28 or anything on the edge that gives the vehicle model, make, and year?
10-4, 2010 blue Infiniti G37.
Can you run Illinois 28 and give me the make model year?
Okay, Illinois Edward Ida King 730. Illinois Edward Ida King 730. 2010 blue Infiniti G37.
Simple. Can you send that to my outlook?
To summarize, the officers receive a C+ for legal compliance and professionalism despite questionable risk assessment. The suspect receives an F for reckless disregard for human life and causing serious injury to innocent victims. The department receives a C- for adequate but improvable pursuit policies. These grades reflect the complexity of high-speed pursuit law. Officers can follow policy and law yet still participate in incidents that result in civilian casualties. The law, as currently structured, provides broad protection for officers under Scott v. Harris while offering limited protection for the public endangered by pursuits.
Fortunately, I'll take care of it on my end. There needs to be a peephole and him there at the end of that report number. If you will, make contact with the highway department. Let them know the end of this guardrail was taken out.
10-4, 10-15.
Reform in this area is difficult because it requires balancing competing interests, public safety versus suspect apprehension. Both are legitimate law enforcement goals. Both serve the public. But sometimes they conflict, and current law generally favors apprehension over the risks posed by pursuit. This case illustrates why pursuit policy remains one of the most controversial and difficult issues in American policing. This case raises difficult questions about police pursuits, public safety, and the balance between apprehending criminals and protecting innocent civilians. The law provides some guidance, but ultimately every pursuit requires real-time judgment by officers facing impossible choices. What do you think? Should officers have terminated this pursuit given the speeds and traffic conditions? Or was continuation justified given the danger posed by the fleeing suspect? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you learned something from this analysis, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth examinations of police interactions and the law. Don't forget to check out our second channel, Audit the Court, for even more police interaction and courtroom content. Thank you for watching. Stay informed, stay safe, and remember, knowing your rights and understanding the law protects everyone.